everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow and happy November to everybody. Today, because it's the first Wednesday of a new month, it's time for my video from the Global Monthly Collaboration Group that I belong to. And it's a group of demonstrators around the world. We all choose either the same stamp set or the same suite or bundle, and we all make a project with them. So don't forget to check on the bottom of this video. There will be links to everybody else that's in the group. Go and watch their great ideas as well, because when we all use the same stamp set, you'll never find two projects alike. So go and have a look and like and share and just enjoy watching the other videos too. Now today I decided not to make a card with the set that we're using, and what we are using is the Perfectly Plaid suite, and we've got the stamp set, we're using the punch, we have all the wrapped in plaid DSP, which is all a 6x6 size, and one side has the gold foiling on. So it really is pretty paper. But because I'm using this one today, I wanted to make a little 3D project of a bag. And it's a sweet little bag. It's only a small bag, but actually it looks small, but you can fit a lot in. You could fit note cards in there. You could put a gift card. You could put candies, lots of different uses for them. A little jewellery box, whatever you're gifting to somebody, that makes a great little size for it. And while I was designing this, I designed a whole set of projects so that we had a card, a bag and a matching tag. And I thought, oh, it'd be quite nice to either pop the tag inside to write on or even attach it onto the bag. And then when I made this, I loved the oval, the stitched oval made with the cherry cobbler. And so when I make my bag and my cards right now, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use this design rather than just the trees on the bag. I'm going to put them onto one of the little ovals. So let's get started. If you're making the whole suite, you'll need 3 pieces of matching DSP. And if you're just making the bag, you'll need 2 pieces and then some scraps just to make the embellishment on the front of the bag. And so I've got these, and I'm just going to get my trimmer so that I can score on it as well. Let me just move these out of the way. Okay. Now on the bags, I have a little bit that folds over. And on this pattern, it really didn't matter which way I scored. But on this one, because it's a directional pattern, when I fold it over, I don't want those deer to be upside down. So I need to remember when I'm scoring that this will actually form the top of the bag because it will go that way. But if your paper isn't directional, it doesn't matter at all. And we're going to score the 2 long sides and the bottom at 1 inch and the top at 3/4 of an inch. If you didn't mind your bag being a tiny bit smaller, you could just do 1 inch all the way around. But I want my bag to be just that little 1/4 of an inch higher. So I'm going to do my scoring, my long sides at 1, the bottom at 1, and this top piece at 3/4. And I'm actually going to start with that top piece so that I remember and don't get carried away. Okay, so there's my 3/4 side, and all my other sides I know are going to be 1 inch. And you can see that on my trimmer, I've moved it so the score blade is at the top. When your trimmer arrives, the score blade will be at the bottom and the cutter at the top. But because my last trimmer, I had the scoring at the top, I needed to keep it the same so that I don't cut the wrong piece. Okay, so that's all scored, 1, 1, 1, 3/4. And I'm going to do the same here. So I know this is going to form the top. So that's the one I'm going to do the 3/4 inch scoring on. and the rest at 1. And that's all we need the scoreboard for, so we can put that away for now. Okay. Now, it's a bit tricky for you to see where the score lines are. I can just see them, and I'm going to fold them over just to make it easier for me to cut. And I'm only folding over the 1-inch sides. I'm leaving the 3/4 inch as it is. And then I'm just going to cut where these 2 lines intersect. I'm going to cut from the bottom up to that intersection. Just fold it a little bit stronger. There we go. There's 1. Let's see here. There's 2. Now, you could cut these little corners off on 1 sheet if you wanted. I tend to leave them on now. I didn't used to. I used to always cut them off. But when it's just with paper, I like to have that little extra added strength. So, oh, let me just see. That's my smaller one. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut up again. If you want to notch these, you can as well. I'll notch them just so that you can see. It just makes it easier for when you fold the flaps in. Don't notch it on the longer piece though. You need those edges flat and straight for when you put the bag together. Let's take these little bits off here. It just gives you a little bit less bulk doing it this way as well and makes it easier. Okay, now before I put the rest of the bag together, I'm going to fold over the coordinating edge. This is going to be the outside of our bag, and this is just the edge that we'll see at the top. And I'm going to glue that. I'm going to use my wet glue. I'm just going to go across quickly like that, and then I'm going to go across the end, nearly at the end. You could use tear and tape for this. That would work really well. Doesn't matter if any glue comes out. I'm just going to push it along there. There, I can feel it's just starting to go off now and stick. Okay, and then I'm going to fold over that line again. I'm going to press it down really well. You could use your bone folder. I'm just doing it with my fingers right now. And I know that that's stuck down right at the edge. It's not going to lift. And the same here. Okay. You can see how the bag is actually coming together. The 2 sides will both be the same. And let me do the same here. Check that I've done the right size. Yep. I'm going to glue this again. So I'm going to put some at the edges, some all the way along, but then at that very top edge, just the thin bead of the glue to make sure that that top edge sticks all the way down. There we go. And then I'm going to fold that so that the plaid side is showing, just like we did on the other piece. Make sure that this is nice. Oh, let me just push that down a little bit there. The glue wasn't right at the bottom, but it is now. Okay. Then I'm going to fold in these little bits. And then when you put your bag together, sometimes, and I don't know why, but sometimes I find that when you're trying to put these 2 together, one side fits on the inside better than the other. And I really don't know why, because we've made them both exactly the same. But you'll find that, well, that's actually going to be a really good side. But you'll find that sometimes this edge will overlap a little bit. And you just need to make sure that you've got the right edge right edges together. Okay, so I'm going to put mine that way, and I'm just going to put glue down here. Make sure you've got some at the very edge and across the top edge. And for this one, I think I'm going to put my glue on the underneath, but let me do the sides first. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the underneath here. And again, I'm going to do those top and bottom edges so that it fits really nice and snug and you haven't got a gap. And then I'm just going to pinch those two together until it starts to stick. Okay, and then the same over here. Put glue on this outside. These little bags are so easy to make, and usually I make them with the 12 by 12 papers, so I can make a big gift bag. But these little ones are great just for, you know, smaller gifts and things, and they're so easy. Okay, now my glue isn't quite dry on the inside, so that's good. I'm going to do the same here. I'm just going to put these flaps down first. Let's put some right at the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this one on the inside here. Oh, I might just put a little bit more glue, look, on that bottom, because I didn't do the bottom piece, just to make sure that sticks. Just going to push that together. And the same over here. Just hold the edges together. Now you could put it on the side and pop your bone folder through, just to make sure that it's sticking. I'm just going to go along with my finger and thumb because that's actually enough. Okay. And then where this edge is, where you've glued it together, I always use that as the back. So there's our little bag started. I'm going to leave that to dry while I make the little embellishment. And for this, I've used one of our plain layering ovals. And then I've got the cherry cobbler with the stitched oval, and that's just going to attach onto there. It's a really easy embellishment. And then what I did was I took the third piece of the matching paper and I cut off a 2-inch strip because I know I want that for my card. So I took off that 2 inches, and then with the rest of the paper I used the punch and I just cut out more trees. And it actually, on mine, I got 7. You could maybe move things along a little bit and get another one out of here, but 7 was just perfect for me. And those ones I'm going to use on the other 2 projects later on. And the trees, I'm going to put 2 of them just on here. And the first one I glue down completely. And I just popped it on here and just stuck it down. Now the next one, I just put on the back a bead of glue from top to bottom right down the middle. And then I stuck it exactly on top. And I just gave it a minute or 2 to dry. Okay. And then it's not quite dry, but what I did was I took the side or the edge of the tree and just folded it up. And because there was only that thin bead of glue in the middle of the back of the tree, it meant that it opened up and made it sort of 3D. without me doing too much work. So there we are. Okay. And then the next thing I needed, I used some of the little metallic pearls, and these are the gold ones. They come in a pack with gold and silver. And I just took 3 of them. And I just put them on the onto the red, onto the cherry cobbler. Oops. Okay. And so that makes our little embellishment for the front of the bag. And you can attach this however you want, but I just want to put wet glue on it so that I know it's stuck all the way. And then I'm just putting it down in that left-hand corner, like this. You could pop that up on dimensionals as well if you wanted, but I just want mine to be flat there. And then you'll have to excuse me while I just get my other punch. I forgot to get it out. Just needed this narrow punch as well, and with the ho 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 on here, I'm just going to stamp with that one. So I'll put it onto a stamping block, and let's find our cherry cobbler ink. And there really isn't much stamping that I'm doing for this one. I'm going to line it up on my grid paper so the bottom of the H's and the O's are level, and then I'm just going to put my block on the top. And then I'm just going to stamp on here. And if you wanted, you could cut this out by hand, but I'm going to use that little punch that I just went and bought. See if this works on it. I haven't tested it, but I'm just thinking that it'll be about the right size. Oops. Oh yeah, look, that's just perfect. Just the right size. Okay, and then I'm going to get my dimensionals. And I could have done with the little narrower dimensionals, but what I'm going to do is just use an edge piece where it's just that narrow strip, and I'm going to attach it onto here. And then I'm going to pop it just across the bottom of the bag so it overlaps just on the little oval a tiny bit. And then the last thing we're going to do is to put our ribbon through. And I showed you earlier that the suite had this green and gold, this spruce ribbon, and that's what I'm going to use, but it would look equally nice with the cherry cobbler diagonal stripe ribbon that we have. And I'm just going to get my hole punch. There we are. And I know that I want 2 holes and 2 holes on the back, so I'm not going to measure it. I'm just really going to eyeball it and see where I want them. I think that'd be nice. It's about 1.25 inches maybe in. So, or you could even count the the little deer here. So I'm just going to go to there, and then I'm going to do it the same at the back. I'm just going to try and line it up from underneath. But it doesn't matter too much. It doesn't have to be precise, or if you do need it precise, you could do that just with a little ruler. Okay, now I did find this was just needing to be rolled before you pop it through the holes, because it frays a little bit, this ribbon. Let's chop this off. I'm just going to roll that little edge again, just to make it easier. It doesn't help that my fingers are a bit gluey as well now. And then we'll just pop the ribbon so that it goes straight. And what I did, while I had that piece in there, I just measured roughly how long it was, ready for the other side. And then I just pulled the ribbon through and tied a little knot on the end. And if you wanted, you could do this with a little piece of card instead. You could just make a little card handle. And I'm just going to chop that frayed piece off. And then pull it through. And then I pulled it through to decide how long I wanted the handles. So I wasn't quite sure when I was making it how long I was going to want them. So I found it easier just to have a length of ribbon and then keep pulling it through until it was the size you wanted. I'm just going to make it a tiny bit longer than that. And then I'm just going to put a knot on this end, cut it, and then make the other side the same. Now the tricky bit is getting the other handle the same, but I know that we've started with roughly the same amount of ribbon. So pop that through the little hole, tie a knot straight away on this one. Try and keep the knot going down to the edge though. Roll the end of this. Pop it through this little hole here. Make that a little bit straighter. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull it up so it's roughly the same. Tie that little knot on the end. Snip that little piece off, and there we go. So there's our little 3D bag made with the wrapped in plaid, perfectly plaid stamp set and the wrapped in plaid paper. And in my Simple Sunday video later this week, I will be showing you the two cards. Now the card won't look exactly like that because we're going to use this same design as here. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do look at the rest of the links for the other ladies who are taking part in the global video group, and if you would like and share any of those, that would be great as well. So thanks so much for watching me, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye everyone.